is all going to be about tonight. And I think you are in the right place at the right time to get some incredible value from this session. So before we get started, I do want to give a quick note that this session is going to be broadcast also with interpretation in translation to Spanish. So there is a little interpretation button in your toolbar at the bottom. So you can click that if that is a feature that you would like to use this evening. So before we kick it over to a very special guest, I just truly want to say we have so much value for you tonight. So be sure and find a pen and some paper and get ready to take some great notes. Okay, so let's get started. If we can get our presentation pulled up, because I'd really love to introduce our very special guest this evening. He is someone with an extraordinary list of credentials, and we are truly so fortunate to get to learn from one of the most respected voices in nutrition and health. So I believe that we have him on already. If you can all in the chat, help me welcome up onto the screen, Dr. David Hebert. Are you out there?
Yes, indeed, Wendy. Great to be with you.
Wonderful. Well, listen, we are truly honored to be here with you this evening. The value that you've given to us for so many years is absolutely incredible, and your contribution to the industry of wellness and nutrition is just remarkable. And so I know you have a great amount of information to share with us this evening, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it over for you. Take it away.
Well, thank you so much. I've been with Herbalife as a consultant, not an employee, for 22 years. And that ride has been amazing. Herbalife has been at the cutting edge of nutrition here in the United States and around the world. And many of the things that we brought in, the first with fish oils, the first with really emphasizing protein, which continues to remain a core. And we were out there doing this long before anybody else got on the protein bandwagon. And protein is still correct because we go by scientifically based principles of nutrition. And today we're moving more and more into personalized nutrition, although it's always been something that Herbalife has done. Today, we're getting more and more scientific information to make your program specific to you. So let me get started with sharing my program here and give you a little bit of my background. Let's see here. Okay, and let me get to the first slide. Sorry, I'm going to get this going in just a second.
Well, we see it there. Just got to do the presentation mode.
There we go. Should do it. Why it's not doing it? Come on.
If you go up top,
Yep.
and a little bit in, there's a little
Slideshow.
A little slideshow.
From the beginning. There you go.
I hit it there. It's just not working. Okay.
Well,
We'll just go with
very
it.
top. Okay.
Let me try it again. Okay, one last time. There we go. Finally. All right. Now that we've got the technical problems out of the way, let me tell you a little bit about my background. I told you I've been the chairman of the Herbalife Nutrition Institute here for many years and worked with distributors around the world, which has been a great pleasure for me because I actually organized the nutrition program at UCLA starting in 1983, just 3 years after the founding of Herbalife. And it was 2003 that I joined Herbalife as a consultant. But throughout all those years, I've had many different honors, but my greatest honor has been working with distributors around the world who are teaching other people. And the multiplication effect is huge because as a physician at UCLA, I practiced with overweight and obese people for many years. But I would never see as many people as can be seen through Herbalife's outreach to the community. And today's topic is really about healthy nutrition and healthy aging. The definition of healthy aging is how many years of health you have, not the very much you live, but how healthy you are. And two people could be the same age, they have the same number of years on this earth, but differ in their mental and physical capacities so that their biological age is different than the number of years they have lived, which is called the chronological age. So healthy aging in humans refers to a very large process of physical, psychological, and social change. You're going to hear a lot about that tonight. So two people may be the same age, but differ in their mental and physical capacities so that their biological age is different than the number of years they have lived. And studies have shown that aging faster can be due to poor diet, sedentary lifestyle, obesity, and stress. And I don't want you to think this is just for old people to think about. It turns out that aging starts early. Brain cells begin to die off by age 23. So it's never too early to start your healthy aging program. So join me tonight to learn the latest science of healthy aging. And how big is this problem? Well, today there are 58 million Americans over the age of 65, representing about 17% of the population. This group is growing faster than those under 65, and the future projection is that by 2040, 22% of Americans will be over 65, and the number of people over 85 will quadruple. So life expectancy in a 65-year-old in 2022 has another 18.9 years on average, longer for women, a little shorter for men. But the number of people over 100 years of age has doubled between 1980 and 2022. Now, what are the common challenges and concerns in aging? Well, you lose muscle with aging and a decline in bone health. Both of those can be fixed with exercise and protein. Common age-related macular degeneration. This is a change inside your eye due to the fact that there's oxidative stress from the ultraviolet light that's hitting your eye when you're reading or when you're out in the sun. So wearing sunglasses and really taking the kind of antioxidants and healthy nutrition that we talk about all the time is very important. Changes in the heart and blood vessels happen with age. And one of the things people don't know is that most of your blood circulation is through the tiny vessels in your tip of your finger. And those tiny vessels are called endothelial cells. And we have developed the nitrate approach to endothelial cell health, which is really unique to us. And we were the first to really develop that. Older people have a higher risk of high and low blood sugar. And so type 2 diabetes, what I call diabesity, is spreading around the world. And it is clear today from the studies that we've done that you can start to affect that through diet and lifestyle. Also, symptoms like decline in memory, reasoning, or other thinking skills. For many years at UCLA, I've worked with Dr. Gary Small, who works with us in training on memory, the memory changes that occur with aging normally, and how to refine that with the proper nutrition. And then finally, elderly individuals are more susceptible to infections, but especially those who are obese or who have metabolic problems are more susceptible. So we all have to age, but what if we helped our aging span? What if we age differently so we age more slowly to look better and feel better? So a study was done in Australia that I want to tell you about. They took 1,000 healthy people between the ages of 26 and 38. Actually, they started them at 26 into the study, and they followed them for 12 years. What they found when they tested everybody at age 38 was that people had aged at different rates. So on this graph, if you're right in the middle there, the ratio is 1. That means that your age in years is the same as your biological age, determined by 14 different tests, including blood tests, similar to what we do through our new protocol program, but also exercise, breathing rates, fitness, and so forth, all the way through. And what you find is half the people age more quickly and half the people age more slowly. So some are aging twice as fast as normal, some are aging half as quickly as the average. So the ones who are aging more slowly had better physical functioning than those who age more slowly. And the other thing that was interesting was they took pictures of everyone and they sent the facial pictures out to judges to say, how old is this person in the picture? And without knowing who the people were in the study, it turned out there was a direct correlation between facial aging and your pace of aging biologically. So the people who aged faster, they had more changes in terms of wrinkles and in terms of how they looked. The other more important thing that happens besides appearance is that if you're not active as you age, your muscle eats itself up. If you're just sitting around all the time, the muscle figures out I don't have to do anything, so I'm just going to get smaller. At the same time as your muscle goes down, your metabolism slows down. So even eating the same number of calories, your body fat increases. And that leads to increased fat and decreased muscle, a problem that in 1993 I called sarcopenic obesity. That's a lot of Latin, but it basically means low muscle, high fat. And why do you lose the muscle? Because people become inactive. They sit around and your muscle breaks down throughout the day. And that's why you have to keep eating protein to feed that muscle because it needs it in order to stay the same. If you don't, your muscle breaks down. If you exercise like this young fellow over here, you can have more muscle as you age. So protein plays into this problem because protein is not stored in muscle at all, but it depends on dietary protein. So when you eat a meal, the protein is broken down to amino acids. They go up in the blood, travel into the muscle, and help to build the protein. Between meals or when you're sleeping, the muscle is breaking down, releasing those same amino acids into your bloodstream. So you have to maintain your muscle nutrition every day. Now, if you don't take care of your muscle, without healthy aging, it's going to be difficult to perform your activities of daily living. Just walking around, dressing yourself, feeding yourself, washing, all that stuff is important as you age, and you can do it with adequate protein and exercise. So it's about living a healthy life, staying engaged, and having a purpose. And there are three elements: nutrition, exercise, and community that we emphasize. So to support your best life, we improve your nutrition and healthy active lifestyle with good nutrition that's balanced. There's the Herbalife Global Nutrition Philosophy that helps to guide your food choices. Our products and community support help you reach your goals. So what is balanced nutrition for your best life? Most people's nutrient intake in America is not balanced. A shocking 70% of the diet is unhealthy foods, which too much sugar, too much salt, and too much fat. 40% of our population is overweight or obese. And when you're overweight or obese, that changes your rate of aging. You age more quickly. So the modern diet, we like to call it the standard American diet, or SAD, the SAD diet, is high in saturated fats, low in fiber, high in processed meats like hot dogs and hamburgers, low in antioxidants from colorful fruits and vegetables, high in sugar, and rich in unhealthy fats. Our global nutrition philosophy attempts to move people to a healthier nutrition for healthier aging. So we believe in healthy protein sources, plant-based protein sources, high fiber, 25 to 40 grams a day, phytonutrients, those are the colorful antioxidants in 7 servings a day of fruits and vegetables, healthy fats from fish oil and other healthy polyunsaturated fats, and limiting refined carbohydrates and added sugars. So we also at Herbalife believe in being transparent. So when you see anything that is an Herbalife product, you will see that it is certified to be pure, and what's on the label is in the product. So nutrition is all about eating nutritious foods, drinking enough water, 6 to 8 glasses a day, and exercising regularly, 150 minutes of moderate exercise every week. These are all important throughout your life, including when you reach an older age. So we break this down into colorful fruits and vegetables, healthy fats, the right amount of protein, fiber, and vitamins and minerals, especially vitamin B12 and calcium as you age. So for exercise, find something that really motivates you to get out there, whether it's Pilates, weight machines, swimming, running, walking. Stretching is the basic thing that gets you ready, and have basic endurance exercise for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, at a level where you can talk but you can't sing. That's how you know that you're at the right level. Resistance or weight-bearing exercise, very important for both men and women, at least 2 hours a week, and that's something that many of us have taken up. And finally, healthy aging and supportive community. The community environment can help you adopt and maintain an active lifestyle. We know that when people get together in groups, they reduce their decline of their memory, regular exercise, reducing smoking, and reducing obesity. That's what's good for the heart is good for the brain. The strongest predictors of risk reduction in your brain health include physical activity, management of blood pressure, and memory training. So meaningful relationships, a sense of purpose are strong predictors of health and happiness, and these are insights from the decades-long Harvard study of adult development. So I want to thank you for your attention. I'm going to turn it back to Wendy now, and we'll move on with our program. But I wish all of you the very best of health.
Oh, awesome. Everyone, I know you have an emoji to drop down for Dr. Heber. Thank you so much. That was truly incredible information. I always learn so much from you. And I assure that everyone on here will agree. Incredible, amazing insights on the big picture of what is necessary to create the healthy lifespan that we should all be looking to achieve. Okay, so now we're going to shift gears into our next section, focused on the mindset that is required to design and live a healthy, vibrant life. Our next speaker is an incredible leader and knowledgeable voice in our company. So we have next Jill Addy. Jill, we're so happy to have you on with us this evening. I'm going to turn it over to you.
Thank you, Wendy. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I'm so glad you could be with us this evening to learn more about longevity. And thank you, Dr. Heber, for that incredible presentation. Actually, our presentation may overlap a little bit when it comes to sense of purpose. So in this section, we'll be talking about some of the mindset aspects of longevity. And I thought we could take more of a research perspective as we look at what are the different mindsets that are actually linked to or correlated with longevity. So we're going to dive right into our mindset conversation, and we'll talk about these different mindsets that seem to matter quite a bit for how well we live and how long we live. Okay, so in terms of some of the research findings on mindset, this wasn't an exhaustive search. I just gave it a quick look at what does some of the scientific research papers say about longevity and about mindset in particular. And 4 key areas of research emerged. So the first was around optimism and having a positive mindset. And optimism, again, is that general expectation that good things will happen. And the second one was self-perceptions of aging. So how do we feel about the aging process? Are we excited about it? Are we nervous? Are we tense around it? Are we avoiding it? We could have all different types of perceptions around aging, and having a really healthy self-perception matters quite a bit in how well and how long we live. Next, we'll talk about different behavioral and personality traits. In particular, we're going to talk about something called positive affect, which is really, it can both be temporary or more of a stable personality trait, but it matters quite a bit when it comes to living well and living long. And finally, we'll talk about something near and dear to me, which is sense of purpose. And I'll be sharing with you some research from a former professor of mine, Victor Strecker, on sense of purpose and the impact that can have with longevity as well. So let's dive in. We'll talk about the very first one. It is called optimism, and positivity, of course, would be another word for it. So again, that optimism is that what we just talked about, that psychological state of expecting good things to happen. So what is your outlook when you think about the future? You think about your life, you think about aging. Are you positive about it? Are you looking forward to it? Do you have a belief that the future is going to be a good future? And so it turns out, based on some of the research, having that optimistic outlook matters quite a bit when it comes to longevity. So based on this study from Lee and colleagues from 2019, it turns out that women who are in the highest optimism category or quartile in this study were almost 15% higher in terms of their percent longer lifespan. So they had a 15% longer lifespan when compared to women in the lower quartile. Men, so men who were in that highest quartile were almost 11%, experiencing 11% longer lifespan. So what's interesting to me is if a person didn't have cardiovascular disease, or they didn't have type 2 diabetes, which again, technically these can be preventable. Yes, we can, just like Dr. Heber shared with us, we can improve our fitness, we can improve our nutrition, we can really knock out some of the factors that would impact our cardiovascular health or the likelihood of developing diabetes. So among the population of women and men who did not have cardiovascular disease or type 2 diabetes, the results were even more pronounced. So you can see here that the women in the highest quartile had an 18% longer lifespan than the women in the lowest quartile, and men had almost a 17% longer lifespan in the highest quartile when compared to the lowest quartile. So in terms of odds, participants in this study were found that those that were in this highest optimism category had 1.5 times greater odds of survival. And for men, it was 1.7 times greater odds than those that were in this lower optimism group. So the question becomes, how do we improve our optimism levels? How can we become more positive or have a healthier outlook in life? We're going to talk about some ideas in just a moment. Okay, so the second area of research that emerged was around how we perceive aging, okay, your self-perception of aging. How do we think about the whole process as we get older? Are we looking forward to it? Are we nervous about it? So in this study from Levi and colleagues, they took a look at median survival rates against a baseline number when it comes to self-perception of aging. So in the positive self-perception aging group, their median survival past baseline was 22.6 years. Okay, versus those who are negative about aging and this negative self-perception about aging, their median survival was 15 years. So that's a difference of 7.6 years just in how we look at the aging process. So again, just taking a look, can we become more positive about our self-perception and have a greater outlook in this process and actually enjoy the process of aging? And it turns out the will to live, this is a variable that they looked at, was really important for self-perceptions of aging. It's finding those reasons to look forward to growing older. Maybe it's more time with your family or playing with the grandkids or staying active. Like, can you stack up multiple reasons for why living longer matters to you? The third area of research that was really interesting was related to personality traits. Okay, and this is getting into what we call positive affect. So positive affect really is this personality trait that's characterized by being joyful, enthusiastic, having lots of energy, life satisfaction, hopefulness. Okay, and it can be either temporary, like sometimes we have those waves in our lives where we just have that moment or a set of days where we just feel really joyful and enthusiastic. Or it might be more of a stable personality trait for you. It might be just how you wake up. I always say my husband is this way. He walks out of the bed like smiling in the morning and just excited for the day. Can't wait. But the rest of us who may not wake up always in the best mood, we can exercise this. We can become more positive in terms of our personality traits. And so again, I'll share with you tips in just a moment because I don't want you to think like that you have to be born this way. This is something each and every one of us can practice and become better at and improve over time. Like Jim Rohn says, you're not a tree, right? We can change, we can grow, we can evolve. That's part of the beauty of being human. So in this study, they took a look at people who developed that personality trait of positive affect. And what they found was those that were characterized this way had a 15% decrease in mortality risk. So major, major impact on longevity and well-being and global life satisfaction. The belief that life is satisfying and fulfilling was one of the most important parts of positive affect from this study. Next, the final one, sense of purpose and having meaning inside your life. So this was a very large scale study of 7,000 US adults. It's a pretty famous one. And they tracked these adults over 14 years. And they controlled for a lot of different things, which means they really tried to hone in on this idea of purpose and having it clear in terms of whether it has a link or an association with longevity. So here was their key finding. For every 1 standard deviation increase in purpose, the risk of mortality over the next 14 years declined by 15%. So sense of purpose is really defined as a stable intention to accomplish something that's meaningful to you and also consequential to the world. So I'll say it again, the sense of purpose is the stable intention to accomplish something meaningful to you and something that is consequential to the world. So it's having that reason for waking up each day, that activity or work project or life cause that excites you and compels you to keep progressing as a person and keep contributing to the world. So again, we can all check in, like, how's our sense of purpose? And it's not something we're born with. This is something, again, we can practice, we can cultivate, we can improve over time. And again, that higher self-reported sense of purpose is associated not just with a small decrease in mortality risk, but a 15% decrease in mortality risk. So staying with sense of purpose, I wanted to share something about someone who's near and dear to me. As a former professor at the University of Michigan School of Public Health, where I went to school to get my master's degree. His name is Victor Strecker, and he wrote this book, Life on Purpose. And the whole, I'd say, like, desire to write that book came from a tragedy. And I wanted to share the story with you because sometimes we think, like, if something awful happens to us or we go through a difficult time, it's really going to be tough to come back and find purpose again, or find a positive outlook on life, or have optimism, or this healthy perception of aging. And he's really a testimonial to the fact that you can overcome tragedy and find your sense of purpose. And so what happened to Victor is, in 2010, he lost his 19-year-old daughter to a heart attack in the middle of the night, unexpectedly. The family was on a vacation together, and she just didn't wake up the next morning. And his life was, as you can imagine, completely shattered, as anyone who loses someone close to them. And for a long time, he was in a very dark place, to the point of not sure he wanted to wake up again in the morning. And so after contemplating some dark things and trying to find his way through this tragedy, he had a moment on Lake Michigan. He was in a kayak, and he heard his daughter say to him that, "It's time, Dad, it's time to get over this." And not to forget her, but to remember her, and to remember his life still has meaning. And so out of that tragedy, he wrote this book, Life on Purpose. And it really gives a lot of the amazing research findings that help us see this link between having meaning in our lives, having purpose in our lives matters so much for living a great life, and for living a healthy life, and living a long life. Some of the really interesting research that Victor is doing that I wanted to share with you is, he's not only looking at sense of purpose and what it means for us, but he's looking at it, how it impacts DNA expression in the body. And what he's trying to do is link this sense of purpose, this emotion around purpose, with epigenetics and how DNA is expressed. And so he's found that sense of purpose reduces biological age. There's epigenetic benefits. We have greater cognitive flexibility, which is stronger cognitive health. So hopefully you'll have a chance to run across this research, maybe pick up his book. But I'm a huge fan of his research, and recognizing that this aspect of mindset matters quite a bit for how well we live and how long we live. So let's move into some tips. What do we do with this? Because the last thing I want is for you to think that you had to be born this way. Like, you had to be born like my husband and waking up with sunshine and rainbows every morning. It is absolutely true that we can change ourselves. We can change our mindset. And I wanted to give you 4 evidence-based practices for how we can cultivate a healthier mindset. The first is a gratitude practice. And you've probably heard this before, but bear with me. If you do regular journaling on gratitude and reflect on the things you're grateful for, it helps shift towards positivity and optimism. So prior studies show that a consistent gratitude practice actually increases optimism. That was the first mindset we covered in terms of what's linked with longevity and associated with longevity. So just a couple minutes a day, maybe it's a quick list you do before you go to sleep. It could be a mental list, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be written down. Every night before bed, we ask our daughters, what are you grateful for? And every night they list usually the same list. Hopefully they're not getting too memorized about it, but they list their gratitude, the things that they're happy about, grateful for. And it's just instilling that practice as young people. The rest of us can pick it up today, right? We can all be journaling or doing a gratitude list, right? At any point in the day when it works for you. The next one that's really interesting is there's some amazing research out there about this experience of awe. I'm not sure if you've read about it, but these experience of being in nature, or experiencing great art, or profound insights, or witnessing virtuous acts are all experiences that can shift our perspective and give us, again, that sense of optimism about life and a healthy perspective about our life as we age. The next one, and maybe you've heard of this, it's from Laura King. It's an evidence-based practice called Best Possible Self. And how it works is you spend 15 minutes a day envisioning your best future self. Who do you want to become? What does life look like for you? How are you contributing to the world? What are your relationships look and feel like? Where are you traveling? Where are you experiencing new things? And this technique significantly boosts optimism. So this is one more way we can influence that first mindset of optimism. And also the third one, positive affect. Again, that trait, that personality trait of being optimistic, joyful, happy, and enthusiastic. This exercise can make a huge difference. And it's nothing technical. You don't have to read a book or find a research study. Just spend 15 minutes envisioning your future best self. The fourth one is to reframe aging. And what they found through different research is if you observe aging people who are really healthy and active as older adults, it can reframe the entire experience of aging as growth-oriented and exciting. So it really helps challenge those stereotypes or beliefs that you might have around seeing aging as a bad thing, or, oh no, I'm getting older, the best years are behind me, whatever those assumptions might be. Observing, again, older adults living healthy, vibrant, active lives can really help reframe your view, your perception of what aging might be like in the future years. And so finally, just wanted to share a couple last tips that are personal to me. So in this picture here is my family, my 3 daughters and my husband, Mark. This year, we decided to take on a new sport. So we decided to take on skiing as a family. And I wish I could tell you from the jump, I was really excited about this, but quite honestly, I was a bit terrified. But what helped was, and this goes to the last point, is we went to the ski hill in Breckenridge near where we live. And I was looking at the ski hill of all the people skiing down the hill, and it hit me. It looked so much fun. And I thought to myself, I was like, I don't want to go through life wishing I'd done something. I want to go through life trying new things, challenging myself, experiencing new things. And so I was pretty terrible in the beginning. I can tell you I was probably one of those people on the greens that you were just like, avoid her. I don't want to run into her. But we've gotten a lot better over time. I've gotten a lot better and faster over time, and I'm having an absolute blast out there. I had a good laugh today, actually, looking at Instagram. I typed in moms skiing. So if you have Instagram and you decide to type in mom skiing, you're going to have a great laugh. I was laughing so hard. I was crying because I completely related to all the moms out there skiing really slowly, turning a ton, getting down the mountain. But I'm loving having a new challenge, a new experience. I just went into a research program to get a PhD as well, just trying to remain a student, staying curious, trying to learn new things. And so I really ask you, where are the areas that you can challenge yourself? You can jump into the deep end again. You can find something you're excited about or curious about that you want to learn more about. What are the new areas of your life that you want to have more dimension in? Maybe it's new friendships, or it's building a new business, or it's having a whole new area of excitement in your life. So the last tips here are to stay curious, to have a growth mindset. And I wanted to share about growth mindset, how it's defined. It's the belief that abilities, intelligence, and talents aren't fixed traits, but they can be developed through effort, learning, and feedback. So the core idea of having a growth mindset that we can all take on is I can get better at this. I can grow. I can learn new things. So thank you so much. I really appreciate the chance to share with you these 4 different mindsets that are associated with longevity. Again, we can't say they cause longevity, but they're correlated, which is optimism, your self-perception around aging, positive affect, sense of purpose, and lastly, growth mindset. I'll turn it back to you, Wendy. Thank you.
Awesome. Jill, thank you so very much. That was absolutely a very important conversation. And what really stood out to me is, wow, I really need to make sure that I'm finding my purpose and living in that daily, and that as we age, we can evolve. And definitely going to be taking a self-challenge in that. And the mind is truly powerful. Wouldn't you all agree? And what we think we become. So super powerful. Thank you again, Jill. Okay, so now we are going to build on that, build on some of the foundational ideas that Dr. Heber shared about in the beginning. And we're going to shift into the conversation of nutrition and why that is so important to support a healthy body and create that healthy lifespan that we desire. So the next speaker is someone I've known for many years and have learned so much from personally. So I am proud to introduce my friend, Michael Katz. Michael, I'll turn it over to you, my friend.
All righty. Thank you, Wendy and Jill. Extraordinary. Dr. Heber, always a blast being with you and always learning. And hi, everyone. Like, wow, we're moving fast here, right? But, hey, we're not slowing down while we're aging, right? We're moving fast. So it correlates with what we're talking about. And, I've been on my wellness journey now for, oh gosh, 35 years. I'm, 66 now. I'm proud. I feel great. And but it wasn't always that way. Okay. When I got introduced to it's not like it was the first time I was introduced to the concept of nutrition could make a difference in your life. But I grew up in the 1960s and 70s, and it was a lot of fast food and TV dinners at our house. And it wasn't a mess. There was some cooking going on. But, it really was, I was a product of the environment, the times. And, my dad passed when we were young. My mother went to work. So, convenience was important inside of the nutritional factor. So at 30 years old, I was really grateful. I didn't realize I was going to be grateful, but I met an Herbalife distributor, and he had gotten great results on the products. The thing is he lost weight. A lot of people lose weight using Herbalife's nutrition, but I didn't have that situation. I was thin, and I just didn't feel good at 30 years old. I don't know if anybody can relate. Put a one in the chat if maybe not today, but before you got started on your journey, or if you're new with us, or somebody who's just getting introduced to this whole conversation tonight. It's not always that we're ready to go. And Jill's section is so important, and so Dr. Heber. But then again, if you don't feel good, let's forget like all the things that could be happening, but you don't feel good, it can be a struggle. And I got started on my nutrition program in 3 days, better energy. I felt good, started sleeping better, breathing better. And I ended up getting 8 pounds of muscle on the weight gain program that first month. But the most important thing for me is I felt great, and it sharpened my mind. I produced better at work. At the time I was leasing space in shopping centers for an owner manager. And, it was extraordinary. And then my buddy at work said to me, "Hey, what are you doing? And can I lose weight?" And that's how I got involved with the company. But I want to talk tonight about some of our products. We have a vast, vast product. And JD, can you bring the slides up for me, please? We have a vast array of nutritional products that make such an extraordinary difference and have for 46 years. We are pioneers over the years as well as leaders today. So sometimes people think, a 46-year-old company, it's probably already done. Well, let me tell you something. So proud of our company, the depth and scope, and it isn't this presentation, but our Seed to Feed program, the amount of, ingredient down to the seeds of identity of where it's from, how it's been grown, harvested, shipped. Everything is monitored through the entire process. And Dr. Heber pointed to it. What you see on the label is 100% per serving of what you're getting. And so Dr. Heber pointed inside, especially inside of aging, but by the way, he also talked about aging starts at a young age, and that's not to freak anybody out. But at the same time, at 23, I thought I was invincible, but he's talking about brain cells are starting to go. So feeding the body, and he spoke enough about, I think we got, in fact, I'm clear we got, that the power of protein is so critical inside of metabolism, inside of muscle, bone health, inside so much of how the body works. And Herbalife for sure does it right, and has been for a four and a half plus decades. Okay. And so this slide doesn't even show all the opportunities that you could have inside of putting, protein supplementation. Some people will make a complete meal out of it and replace it for weight loss. And we've got soy-based, we've got a plant-based with no allergens, so rice, pea, and quinoa based. We've got those of you that like whey protein, we've got a whey protein base that you can make a great meal out of. And so there's you may or may not be able to see the pictures, and especially if you're on a cell phone, you won't really be able to see. But we have options for protein for our vegan friends, okay, which is just absolutely extraordinary. And then we have some fun alternatives, right? So here in America, that's not on the picture, but we have a soup that's got 15 grams of protein, a chicken soup, right? And inside of our protein line, and the baked goods is on here, and that's got 15 grams, 21 vitamins and minerals. So our shake, especially our meal replacement shake, it's low in calorie and nutrient dense. And if you remember what Dr. Heber was talking about, the SAD, right? The typical daily diet versus the Herbalife plan, it makes such a big impact, and then we have protein snacks throughout the day. There's a coffee protein on here. There's a whey protein, wild berry, and peach mango, just absolutely extraordinary. So without all of that, and listen, you're going to get with the person that invited you on or the coach that you're working with to really customize a program and the elements of it based on what your goals and what your commitments are. Because we are all about you winning in your process of your healthy lifespan. So JD, can you go to the next slide? Let's just talk about a few more so important categories in a sense, okay? And let's talk just a few minutes about digestive health. And certainly today we are learning so much about how important gut health is. And this isn't a gut health training, okay, at this point, but when we take care of it, and I think it's pretty well known, but for the most part in America, we're not, well, I'll speak about myself. I don't always eat the proper amount of fruits and vegetables. Not growing up, I'm doing much better today. That's for darn sure. Okay. But, but digestive health is such an important deal. And so fiber, okay, and the dietary fiber is so critical. And Dr. Heber pushed the limits with, I heard 40, but, oftentimes if women can get, up to 25, men to 30, 35, and we're just not getting it done. So to have products that each measured amount is exactly what's on the label, okay, and our active fiber complex, that can add 5 grams of fiber, okay? If you're having your shakes twice a day, if you're doing that, then you could have 2 of those. That's 10 grams. That's like a third of your fiber intake, as well as you're going to have fiber with your main meals and your snacks, and really builds that. It's been so supportive and so important for so many people. We do have a vegan option inside of our digestive support. And probiotics, boy, we hear a lot about probiotics, all right? What I love about Herbalife is from my perspective, cutting edge, okay? This probiotic, you do not need to have it in the fridge, okay? It's got a casing around it so that when you consume it, it goes all the way through. It hits exactly where it's supposed to hit. That protective coating comes off, and boom, the active probiotic is there to deliver and perform the way it's designed to do it. And I'm just so grateful, because can be a tricky thing for people with a probiotic, when most of them need to be refrigerated to have the amount of probiotic that's in it. And our herbal aloe is really, really, really fantastic. And I mean, if you think about it, just the aloe plant itself, so soothing and nurturing. Now think about that through ingestion, digestion, elimination, okay? The flavors are amazing. There's, zero sugar, okay, non-GMO. It's just extraordinary. And, listen, our products we're not claiming to, diagnose, prevent, or cure anything, okay? You provide the body with great nutrition, okay? And you take out a lot, if not all, but let's just say a lot of the things that have been taking us in the wrong direction. The body's pretty remarkable as far as balancing. And aloe really does help with that, with absorption and, just soothing and nurturing the whole digestive tract, okay? So another piece to keep in mind when you're talking to your coach and customizing your program, okay, of what would be right for you based on your goals today in the process of, a healthy life. Okay, JD, next slide, please. So let's look, heart health, right? Without the heart, we're not here. I know that's blunt or a corny joke. Maybe it's a dad joke or something. I don't know. But in any event, just so grateful for Herbalife inside of, this middle product here, Nightworks. Let me just say something about it because for those of you who are familiar with the value of increasing the level of nitric oxide in the body and the value that that has on cardiovascular health is very well documented. The three guys got the Nobel Prize for it back, I think it was 1993. Don't quote me on that, might have been 98. But in this Nightworks product is the science and the discovery inside of that Nobel Prize award. And Herbalife has had this on the market since 2003. Over 20 years, we've been bringing this product to support, vascular suppleness and flexibility and the increase because those precursors, the L-arginine and citrulline, and it's all documented. And so you're just so proud, again, to be associated with Herbalife. We know the value, well, maybe some do, some don't, or a lot do, maybe some don't, but the value of increasing our omega-3s in our supplementation and in the foods we're eating. We need some omega-6s, but we want to reduce the amount of omega-6s that we're taking in and increase in. So much is available inside of the research and the knowledge. And Herbal Lifeline is literally, I imagine it has ebbed and flowed over the 40-something years, but it was one of the original products that our founder Mark Hughes brought to the market way back in the early 80s, okay? And boy, oh boy, it makes an incredible difference, okay? Now, I have on here, or we have on here tonight, Core Complex, because it's in a packet. It's a number of different products. CoQ10, not everybody, but people understand the value of CoQ10 for heart energy. Okay, is in there. Tri-Shield, which is krill oil. If you want to look up the value of krill oil, is just huge. Again, inside of the omega-3s, the Lifeline is in there. Okay, and we also have in there, I forgot the plant sterols, which really support everything. So here's the thing, it's in a packet, it's once a day, and you could be, especially for people on the go. And I know I've got a couple clients that their Core Complex and Nightworks are their go-to every single month. Okay, JD, how about the next slide? Heart health, boy, we got to keep that ticker going good. Okay, so energy, right? If you don't feel well, not how are we going to have purpose, but going back to, as we're the will or the desire or the interest in really expanding and spreading and participating inside a community. If you don't feel well, it ain't happening. Well, and that's not a guarantee, but you really got to figure it out. But, our energy products are awesome. Here's my experience personally. It's not an icky, icky, you like that word? Okay. Experience with our energy line. These are just three products. It's a vast line and you'll, customize it with your coach. But our NRGT, it's about 45 milligrams of caffeine inside of the guarana plant. And I know I didn't say that correctly for the Portuguese people, but very well known, mental clarity and alertness and even energy. Liftoff has been so beautiful for our company, not so much for the company, but for our clients and ourselves, rich in the B vitamins. It's also got guarana in it. It's got ginseng in it. It is just such a delicious beverage that gives a nice lift of energy, also mental clarity with that guarana in there. And our herbal concentrate tea, thermogenesis effect, impacts it with the green tea, burn a few calories, a nice even energy, no crashes, and we're just grateful. And this is just a small sampling inside of the energy line. And so if energy is on, and by the way, when you get with your coach or the person and you're customizing your program, you'll find as you have the adequate amount of protein spread out throughout the day is going to impact your concentration and your energy in it of itself, as well as, if you are looking to trade out some other things that you might be participating with today that are maybe not as beneficial for your body, and you know that, but you didn't necessarily have alternatives. Now you have a conversation with your coach. Let's go to the next slide, JD. Okay, so a couple more products, okay? And there's more inside of aging. We've got a joint, advanced joint support. We have ocular defense for the eyes. We have, there's just a number of different products that will make it in the aging process. Here, two of them that are high on everybody's list. Extra-Cal and Dr. Heber pointed to, we're losing, the bone health if we're not moving and we're not taking care of ourselves, and calcium can make such a ridiculous difference in that. And it's got vitamin D in it as well, which can help with the absorption. Memory armor, memory is a big deal. And I believe personally, this is just my personal, if there's certain ingredients can come out of that have not been healthy for us, that are well known and being told to us that they're not that healthy, okay, we can reduce that and we can add the basis of good, solid, optimum nutrition on a daily basis, including our whole foods that we're eating, our proteins, our carbs, our healthy fats, our fiber. Okay, but the memory armor really with the Bacopa in there, which is scientifically, and proven to impact memory. And boy, it's a hot topic, right? So you could talk with your coach about that. And our Life IO baseline, one of our brand new products, is a collection of ingredients and NAD. The levels of NAD are reducing as we are getting older, and it's not as simple to have the body restore those levels. And what's one of the components inside of baseline is the precursors that supports the body in producing more NAD. And we are so grateful because this product is really taken off for us. So make sure you talk to your coach about, here's what I would recommend is let your coach know what your goals are, what you're thinking about, what you want to move the needle on in this year, 2026, and engage in a conversation of between your whole foods, maybe some things that you're going to take out that you've been having, and where the Herbalife supplementation can make a big difference. And so with that, I think there's one more slide. If I'm not mistaken. Oh, it's the product line. Okay. So there's so much more that we could talk about. I'm not going to do that tonight. Thank you for your time. It's a joy. I love being, bringing these products to the marketplace and supporting people. So Wendy, back to you, and thanks for having me on.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Michael. Fantastic information. We truly have the best nutrition solutions for anyone, any goal, and any stage of life. And personally, nothing gets my day going better than with starting it with my morning shake. So absolutely love what we can offer. So next, we're going to move into a really neat section. Our next speaker that we have up, he has literally grown up in this company, coming from a family with more than 45 years of experience with our company and leadership. I am pleased to bring up JD Tartle, who's going to be sharing a little bit more about Herbalife and how our company is uniquely positioned to really make a meaningful impact in the world around the very topic of living a healthy lifespan. So JD, we're super excited to have you on tonight. So the Zoom is all yours.
Thank you, Wendy, so much. And, so much great information so far. Always love hearing about Dr. Heber and, getting that protein with Jill and the mindset. And of course, with Michael, the products. It's amazing. And something that I'm going to talk about a lot tonight is, the sense of purpose. And I know Jill was talking about that a lot. I believe Heber talked about that too. But, Herbalife, our community, gives such a sense of purpose. And, with wellness, it's a sense of purpose. And one thing that I love about the Herbalife business is that it truly gives you a sense of purpose, almost at any age. I'm only 40 years old, but I want a sense of purpose. I want to age gracefully. And I want to share a few photos just to give you guys a sense of kind of what the Herbalife community and business can do almost at any age, but really for your 40s, your 50s, and your 60s. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up a slideshow here, and I want to show you guys this. Now, they're no longer with us, but this is my grandparents. And I got a little quote here by my grandma. This is from a journal that Herbalife had long time ago. But it said, when John finally decided to retire, Helen wanted him to stay active and be healthy. Helen remembers when our children shared the Herbalife products and opportunity with us, I thought this could be our answer. Herbalife turned out to be more than a dream come true. So, in meaning, when my grandfather was set to retire, they saw Herbalife as a way to give them a sense of purpose and keep going. He started at 64 years old. Grandma was in her late 50s, but they were able to build a significant six-figure yearly income in their quote unquote retirement years. They are no longer with us, but because of the way Herbalife works, their business still actually helps pay their children who are in Herbalife. So, I've seen people start their business in their 40s, 50s, 60s, 80s. I've seen people get to the top 1% of our company in their 40s, 60s, 70s, and 80s. And I just thought, I remember seeing my grandparents at meetings having a sense of purpose. So, it is really fascinating and amazing what the Herbalife business can do at any age. Then, with my other grandparents on my mother's side, same thing. George started his business in his 60s. My grandma Dina was in her 50s. And they actually came for the products, but they stayed for the business. And they were able to build a significant six-figure income and a business all over the world. And talk about sense of purpose. I remember being a child and going to my grandfather's house in the early 90s. He had all the computers, all the technology. And at his age, he was learning technology because Herbalife gave him the reason. Herbalife gave him the reason to learn all the new technology, all these things. And in my own personal business, I work with people up to 80 years old, and they're calling me about social media, and they're learning all these new things to stay engaged. So it's pretty amazing that just having a sense of purpose through helping people with health and nutrition can also help keep you focused. And for myself, my journey kind of started when I was a little baby. Here, I've always had good nutrition. I grew up an extreme sports athlete, always drank my shake, and for income at a time, I wanted to become a lawyer. I saw that as a way to earn good money was to go to law school. But then I thought about sense of purpose. I thought about the community I wanted to be around, just the people. And I remembered my grandparents. I remembered every time I was at an Herbalife event or a call or anything, I left happier. I left more excited about life. And I said, if I'm going to be doing something, that's what I want to be around. I'm going to be around exciting, positive people. And I went out and I built my business. But also, what's amazing about Herbalife is a willable asset. So now I continue the business that George and Dina Patton, my grandparents, built, which is pretty phenomenal that they were able to start a business in retirement years, work their way up to the top 1%, then they were able to will it to a grandchild. And I've got my own daughter now, so I know all the work that I'm doing one day will help take care of my little girl. And it's just amazing that Herbalife can provide that. And here's some stats on what people in their 40s are looking for alternatives. Because right now, and I'm 40 years old, I've got a lot of friends in this situation, economic uncertainty and shrinking career paths. A lot of my friends, 20s and 30s were going good, but now in their 40s, the career path is looking a little different. Rising costs of living and healthcare. What can extra income do for people right now around this? And this is a big one. People have more desire for flexibility, meaningful work. Young people want to help out their parents, older want to help out their children and friends. And I don't know about you, but within Herbalife, this is truly possible. This is definitely possible. My parents helped their parents out with the business. Okay? They didn't give them a handout, but they said, hey, why don't you come and build an income outside of retirement? And that's what they did. Okay? My parents helped me as a child by showing me Herbalife, saying, hey, you can do this to earn extra income. It's pretty amazing. Okay. And there's something called the second half of life mindset. So as we get older, and this is definitely something I'm starting to feel now, I turned 41 in July. So on this call, I'm still a baby, but it's true. Priorities shift. My priorities have definitely shifted now. Okay. Health is definitely more important. Freedom, most definitely. Purpose, contribution. Okay. Herbalife offers these. People want fulfillment earlier, not just at retirement. Okay. I don't know about you, but working for some company for 30, 40, 50 years and just retiring and dying does not sound ideal to me. I want fulfillment now. I want to be able to do that now. I don't want to be 75, 80, kick off my shoes and be fulfilled in retirement. No. And this community of Herbalife offers that. Desire for control over time, direction, and well-being. Another major thing people want nowadays. And that is stuff that is obtainable with us. So, why Herbalife fits the 40 plus lifestyle? One, the products. Okay, as we get older, like we heard, we need good nutrition. We need a positive mindset. Herbalife helps check all those boxes. Okay, a flexible business. You can grow at your pace. Something I love and is hard about Herbalife. But if you want to go out there and talk to 100 people a day to really affect change and build your business, you can do that. If you want to go out and talk to one person a day, you can do that. It's up to you. Okay, a positive, supported, health-focused community. I don't know any other community that's as positive, supported, and health focused as us on a global scale. On a global scale. I love my local gym and my gym friends that I have there, and that's great. But Herbalife is this on a global scale. And what's so amazing is that we get health tips from all over the world because we're global. We get this positive mindset from all over the world because we're global. Okay? Mission of helping others create healthier lives. We just talked about fulfillment. I cannot tell you how fulfilling it is when somebody calls you up and says, hey, I have more energy. Hey, I can play with my grandkids now without getting winded. Or I finally lost that 5 pounds. Hey, it's amazing, that feeling, you know? And I love the message. For things to change, we have to change. For things to get better, we have to get better. And it's never too late. Okay? This is a big one. Herbalife has a lot of successful women in it. A lot of them, you know? And some women are re-entering the workforce at 40, 50, 60s. Life changes. And there can be difficulty finding equal level roles after time away. It's just the nature of the beach. There's age biases that impact hiring and advancement. Okay? It's just the reality of things, but that's not a reality here. Okay, we get paid and we build a business on our efforts. Desire for flexibility with family responsibilities. I know lots of people within our business earn nice part-time money around their kids, around their family. I know lots of women in our business, even single moms, that earn a full-time income within our business around their family. They learn how to put the business in the pocket of their day and they take it seriously. Herbalife offers autonomy, empowerment, and community. Okay, this is amazing. You know, there's one of my favorite stories is kind of a personal story, but there's people in my family, and one of them, unfortunately, relationships don't always work out. And it was either a banker or accountant was saying to one of the women, "Well, I hope you're going to be okay. I'll help you out." But this woman built a huge royalty check in a business. And she just smiled and said, "I'm going to be okay." And that was amazing that Herbalife gave that. Didn't give it, it worked for it. Okay. And then what are people in their 40s facing? Okay. This hits home too. Career, family, stress convergence. Often teens at home, divorced. In my 40s, I don't have a teen. I only have a 4-year-old. I was a little late to the game. Okay. But this is true. Our metabolic and energy changes begin. This is true. The same energy I had in my 20s or 30s, it's not there. Okay. My metabolism, I can't be eating nachos every day like I want to. But Herbalife helps give me that safety net of nutrition to make the healthy choices. Herbalife helps give me the nutrition I need for my energy. Okay. I know lots of people in their 40s, 50s, 60s have more energy than some 20-year-olds because they're taking care of themselves. Okay. Lots of people in their 40s reevaluating long-term career path. Some of my friends, I got a lot of friends doing this too. In their 20s and their 30s, they were doing well. They thought they were the bee's knees, but all of a sudden now, things are changing. All of a sudden now, and I have a feeling that some of them are going to be reaching out to me. Okay. A lot of people in their 40s seeking wellness, supplemental income flexibility. Supplemental income is major. What could an extra two, three, four, $500 a month do? What could an extra $2,000 a month do? What could an income do for you where you had flexibility? Flexibility to spend time with family, to travel, to do the things you want to do. Okay. People in their 50s, again, career uncertainty. Okay. Restructuring or burnout. A lot of this happens. Okay. Hormonal changes in weight, things that Herbalife can help with, giving your body nutrition. Okay. Empty nest shifts focus inward. I mean, lots of people, if they've had children and their children move away, they can get depressed, they can get bored, they don't know what they're doing with themselves. Well, Herbalife is a way to funnel that energy into a positive way to earn extra income and help people get healthy. That's what my grandparents did. Both of them did it. Okay. Desire for a financial bridge towards retirement. I don't know about you, but relying on a government to take care of me in my older years is not a plan I want to be a part of. I want to be able to have more control. I want to be able to show people in their 50s that they can have control. Okay. Again, what can an extra $500 a month do for somebody who's looking down on retirement? What could that do for them? Okay. There's plenty of people that need our nutrition, that need our business. Okay. We can help people bridge that gap towards retirement. People in their 60s, a lot of them are reinventing themselves, post-career. Okay. Some people had a great career, but they're like, now what? Now what do I do? I need a reinvention. Okay. Herbalife can offer that. A scary thought is the concern about outliving savings. Okay. Not in a position that anyone wants to end up in. Okay. Is the Social Security check going to be enough? Is my savings account going to be enough? My IRA, whatever it is. But Herbalife offers a way to help with that. Okay. People just want to stay active, sharp, and connected. Again, I saw this in my grandparents. My grandpa Patton learned technology. I remember sitting at his computers and he would show me things. Again, right now, I work with people up until their 80s and they're using social media, using their phones. They're staying sharp and connected. Okay. We offer a way for people to earn money, not just to be a door greeter at Walmart, which is great, but we offer people a way to stay connected, stay sharp, really use their brains, be active. You know, lots of people in the 60s looking for meaningful, low pressure activity. Okay, Herbalife can be low pressure because it's at your pace. And then people, as they get in their 70s and their 80s, a lot of them just want relevance and contribution. A lot of people are with us just because they want to contribute. And a lot of these people in the 70s and 80s, they're just looking for a way to contribute. Okay. And loneliness becomes a major health risk. I think Heber did talk about that, is that, you know, people just being alone too much is not a good thing. And Herbalife provides a healthy community for people. Purpose and connection support, longevity. Okay, sense of purpose. This goes back to sense of purpose. We want to be able to give people sense of purpose in their 70s and 80s, and we can do that. Okay. And again, the ability to participate at their own pace. That's what's so beautiful about what we offer here is that people can participate at their own pace. Okay, it takes some hard work and dedication to become successful, but to earn some extra income, not too big of a deal. Okay, the universal benefits across all ages with this. Okay, to hit back home, flexibility to work anywhere at any time. Okay, you can align your income goals with your health goals. Okay, the better health result you get, the more you can share, the more people will notice. You've got a supportive community and friendship. This is what drove me to the business, is a supportive community and friendship. Okay, we got a purpose-driven mission. We want to help people lose weight, get healthy, help them have longer lifespans, and just have feel good. Okay, it's a scalable business. People can work part-time or full-time. Okay, leverage your life experience. You know, in your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, you have a lot of life experience. Okay, people trust relatable experience. They're going to trust the experience you've had. You know, coaching strength increase with age. Okay, just living to your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, it enhances leadership because you've been through so much. And your story becomes your power. This is how I've seen people in their senior years build businesses because they have that sense, because they have a sense of power, because they have a story. And guys, in our business, your story is your strength. Okay, authenticity builds trust quickly. So what do? We use our product, we wear our brands or buttons, and we talk to people. Okay, that's what we do. Share your wellness challenges and wins with people. Okay, your own transformation will inspire people. It'll inspire actions. When people notice you have more energy, maybe you're at the pickleball court and you've got more energy because you're on good nutrition. They're going to notice, they're going to ask. Okay. And what's really great is when your journey becomes somebody's hope, when you're inspiring others. Okay. We have lots of daily methods of operation. You can ask your coach about how we create business with Nutrition Club, challenges, social media, talking to people. We have many different avenues. Okay. And I want you guys to really think about this as we wrap up here. Okay. What could the next 10 years look like? Really, what could the next 10 years look like? Even if you're 40, 50, 60, 70, people living to 110 now. Okay. Imagine more flexibility and freedom in your life. Like, what would that look like to you? What does that mean to you? Can you see in your mind how that would make your life different? How about improved health, energy, and confidence? Okay. A positive community you're around. I know in the next 10 years of my life, I want to be around a positive community, helping others transform their lives. Okay. We help you too. We offer training, support, all these things. And at the end of the day, we like to keep what we do fun, simple, and magical. Our business is fun, it is simple, and it is magical. And it's never too late to start something meaningful. Nobody on this line should say, well, I'm X age, it's too. No, that does not exist. If you're older, you have more context, you have more experience, you know more people. Okay? Healthy lifespan equals living better, contributing more, creating freedom at any age. I've seen it. I've seen it start at 14 for people. I've seen it start at 50, 60, 70. I've seen people start at 70s and in their 80s become the top 1% in our company. It happens for those who are willing to work and learn new skills. And again, you set the pace. You define the impact. Hey, if an extra $500 could change your life, we can show you a pace to do that. We can show you a pace how to do that. Okay? And what I want to do now is talk about our next Healthy Lifespan workshop. Okay, on March 10th, on Tuesday, we have Dr. David Heber coming back. Okay, I don't know about you, but I want to get more people in front of Heber. Okay, he's a wealth of knowledge, and we've got some great speakers to help talk about mindset, nutrition, okay, what the Herbalife business can do, our sense of community and purpose. So if you found value, we definitely want to have you plug back in and bring somebody with you. Have them come on here and hear about how to have a healthy lifespan, just how to live better. So I want to thank you and give it back to my lovely host, Wendy.
Awesome. JD, incredible. Thank you for sharing that so beautifully. There truly is so much to love about all that Herbalife has to offer to anyone in any stage of life. So friends, tonight we've covered some truly valuable insights about creating and living that healthy lifespan. And I'm sure many of you have already taken a note of ideas or areas where you would like to take action. So your next step is simple. You need to reconnect with the person who invited you to join in on the Zoom tonight and have that conversation about what makes the most sense for you related to the information that we've shared tonight. Again, I want to thank our speakers, Dr. Heber, Jill, Michael, JD, great information. And to you all, thank you again for spending your evening with us. It's been a pleasure to be your host. And I hope you all have a wonderful night, and we'll see you again soon. Bye, everyone.